Welcome to the most festive quarter of YouTube. I'm Christy of Crafty Magic Dolls, and today we're diving into a magical holiday miniverse. Let's take a look at these festive mini creations. I'm going to make all 4 of the Miniverse holiday items today on my new holiday set, where the spirit of Christmas and delicious mini food collide in the most adorable way possible. We'll be creating all 4 of the tiniest treats that capture the essence of the holiday season, from the smallest of gingerbread houses with tiny gumdrops to cups of hot cocoa, and of course, the ultra-rare elf spaghetti straight from Buddy the Elf himself. We'll be crafting these incredible treats, and I'll tell you about some of the hacks and tricks that you can use to make your holiday miniverse even more magical. So if you're ready to experience the holidays in a whole new dimension, hit that subscribe button and hang on just a moment while my hubby rolls my intro, because as soon as it's done, we're going to fully explore MGA's holiday miniverse, Make It Mini Treats. Crafty Magic Dolls content is intended viewing for adults who collect toys and dolls. Content, topics, and discussions are intended for adult collectors and not for f***ing kids. But hey, at least you've been warned. Hey guys, so I'm here today on my new holiday set. We're going to check out the new Make It Mini Miniverse holiday recipes. I've got my comfy Santa sweater on and I'm ready to cook. So officially the series of Miniverse holiday balls only come with 3 different options. You've got the gingerbread house, the turkey roast dinner, and the hot chocolate cups. Fortunately, the holiday Miniverse items come with the items printed right on the side, so you already know what's in every ball. You don't have to use any tips, tricks, or hacks. You just need to look at the red wrapper on the inside to find out which ball is which. But as many of you already know, there's a top secret limited edition 4th recipe. The elf spaghetti from the holiday classic, Elf. This candy spaghetti created by Buddy in the movie is recreated in perfect Miniverse form. Even though I've already created a short that tells you exactly how to get Buddy the Elf, I'm going to do it again in this video just in case you missed my first one. There's a simple hack to make sure that you get your Buddy the Elf spaghetti. All you have to do is take your trusty shipping scale with you to the store. Be sure to check the weight of the hot chocolate capsules, because the Buddy the Elf spaghetti is only hidden in the hot chocolate capsules. Any of the hot chocolate capsules should weigh about 101 to 102 grams. However, if you find one that weighs 109 or 110 grams, or even heavier, that's going to be the Buddy the Elf spaghetti. See, I don't make you wait till the end of the video to get all the good information around here. What we're doing today is actually creating the recipes, and I'm going to show you the way to make them look their very best. Plus some alternative options, including a great alternative for the Buddy the Elf spaghetti, in case you're lucky enough to find 2 of them. The first recipe we're going to look at today is the hot chocolate. Like a kid waiting for Christmas Eve, I can't wait a second longer, so let's get started. This is what the ball's wrapper will look like. You'll see the hot cocoa images on the inner red wrapper. This recipe comes with 2 plastic hot cocoa cups, 2 round paper doilies, a bag of colorful marshmallows, a container of red and white sprinkles, a package containing 2 candy canes, and a container of resin hot cocoa. So the first thing we need to do is set out our 2 hot cocoa glasses. You're going to want to fill each one up about 3/4 of the way with the hot cocoa resin. I'm going to fill one a little less than the other so that I can make them a little bit different. One of the glasses is going to look like it's in the middle of being enjoyed, and the other one is going to be a full cup. I suggest curing your resin with a UV light. If you use the UV resin flashlight that I suggest, there's a link down in the description of this video if you'd like to see which one I use. It should only take a few seconds for your resin to cure thoroughly. This will make it possible to put your toppings on securely. I decided to get a little fancy by making a sprinkle rim for my hot cocoa glasses. To do this, I use the tweezers that come with the set. I spread a small amount of the resin around the very top edge of the glass. Just like making a margarita, I dip the glass into the sprinkles to give me the perfect rim. I really love the way this looks. You certainly don't have to make yours this way, but I think it looks great. So make sure you use enough resin and cure it fully so that these sprinkles aren't falling off. If you're a little anal retentive and you want it to be perfect like I did, you might even use tweezers to place the sprinkles in exactly the right place. As you can see, I needed mine just perfect, so I went ahead and added the sprinkles one by one to make sure that every spot was covered thoroughly. I used the lid of the sprinkle container to hold the sprinkles while I individually tweezed them into place. I didn't coat the entire rim though. I left a small section blank on the back side. That way you could make it look like you're drinking, or that the glass is in the middle of being enjoyed. Plus, if you're taking doll photos, you won't knock all the sprinkles off when you pull the glass up to your doll's face. There, done. It looks perfect. I love it. Alright, we're on to the marshmallows. I added the marshmallows to the top with a little bit of resin and then cured them in place. On the other one, I decided to hang the candy cane. I didn't actually resin these in place because I wanted them to be removable. But of course, that's up to you. It totally depends on what you're going to do with your Miniverse. If you're taking photos with them, I highly suggest leaving them separate so that your doll can enjoy their candy cane later, separately if they'd like to. Or you can use the candy canes for other craft projects. Or decorating your dollhouse Christmas tree. After adding the marshmallows, I also added some sprinkles to the top of the hot cocoa as well. I just like the contrast of colors. And it tastes delicious too. So there we have it. My hot chocolate's complete. If you got multiple copies of this set, you have a lot of options. You could certainly use these glasses for any kind of holiday drink. If you like the glasses but you don't want them to be tied to the winter or the holidays, you could always remove the etching on the side using a small amount of nail polish remover. It'll take the design right off. You could always use these glasses in the fall for apple cider. Really, the options are endless. But I have to say, I'm a huge fan of the peppermint hot cocoa. Even though I don't really like to drink it in real life, I think it looks wonderful. To set them out of the way, the next item we're going to take a look at is the roasted turkey dinner. This is what the balls wrapper will look like. You'll see the roasted turkey dinner images on the inside red wrapper. Included with the roast turkey dinner, you get a white holiday serving platter, a red silicone basting brush, a complete prepared plastic wrapped turkey, 2 cooking end caps for the turkey legs, a bag of mixed color carrots including orange, yellow, and purple. You also get a cardstock Christmas card and a paper envelope, and a container of resin glaze for the turkey. I'm a pretty solid cook in the kitchen, but I've never actually attempted to cook a full turkey dinner. When I was on my own and before I had a family, when I would have people over for a Friendsgiving, I always prepared turkey breast or something else, but I never actually cooked a full bird. Here we have it, the full bird. Let's get this thing unwrapped and get the caps on the turkey legs. I believe the purpose is to protect the ends of the turkey legs so that they don't burn. The next step is going to be preparing the vegetables. I really wish they'd taken the opportunity to include some onions and garlic, not only because they're a staple when preparing a turkey, but also because I thought they'd be really interesting parts to include with the set. I am glad though that if they were going to give us something simple, that they at least chose to give us multicolored carrots, so that it was something more visually interesting. Now obviously I think the idea here was to put the carrots around your turkey and leave them whole. But honestly, if you were going to actually prepare your turkey this way, I can imagine that most people would cut up the carrots into small pieces. So that's exactly what I did here. I cut the 6 different carrots into small slices using an X-Acto knife, and then placed them around the turkey on the platter. I spread a small amount of resin around the platter before I added the carrots so that they would stay in place. I also used a small amount of the resin turkey glaze to hold the turkey to the platter so that it wouldn't move around. I thought the silicone basting brush was a really great addition to this set because you can actually baste the turkey with it. After curing the resin, you're able to remove any excess resin from the basting brush. That makes this item something that you can save and use in the future. I have to say, I'm pretty proud of myself. This turned out awesome. Although calling this my first turkey dinner might be cheating a little bit. I really do love how it turned out though. I think it's awesome. It will definitely be the main focus of your holiday table. The other awesome thing that came with this set is this, a Christmas card. I mean, you get an actual tiny little Christmas card that's blank on the inside that you can fill out yourself. Next year, and you can quote me on this, I'm going to organize a holiday gift exchange. We're going to have our own Secret Santa. And all the gifts, minis, it doesn't get better than that. So let's talk about the most popular item in the holiday series, the Gingerbread House. This is the item that I believe drew an entire wave of new people to the Miniverse products. Because even if you're not really into miniatures, how could you not absolutely love the world's smallest buildable gingerbread house? This is what the balls wrapper will look like. You'll see the gingerbread house images on the inner red wrapper. This item comes with a round cake stand, a round white paper doily, a frosting spatula with a red handle, a cardboard box containing 6 pieces of gingerbread in the shape of the walls and roof of a house, a whipped cream canister containing 6 dollops of whipped cream, a cardboard box containing a plastic bag full of gumdrops, and a bottle of vanilla resin frosting. The gingerbread house is very cute and assembles pretty easily. The gingerbread pieces have pre-cut slots so the sides will snap together even without the use of frosting to act as a glue. You should assemble the front, back, and side walls together before adding the 2 roof pieces. I suggest working on top of the cake stand and your paper doily, because once you start adding the frosting resin and the candy and whipped cream additions, you'll most likely have some drips that are unavoidable. If you don't want your gingerbread house to be attached to the doily and cake stand, I recommend working on a glass cutting board or a silicone baking mat where you'll easily be able to remove the gingerbread house after curing the resin. Any non-porous surface should work just fine, honestly, but after years of working with clays and resins, I've found glass and silicone mats to be the easiest and most reliable way to remove the items without damaging them. So once the house is assembled, you're ready for the next step. Normally, you'd use multiple kinds of candy to decorate a gingerbread house, but with this kit, we only got the gumdrops. I do find that they're a little bigger than I would have liked, but at least they're very realistic looking. I did have to convince my toddler multiple times that they were not worth trying to eat. I suggest pouring the gumdrops or other candies out onto a plate to make it easier to find the ones that you want. If you're particular like me, you're probably going to want to choose ones of a specific color. As you can see, I made a pattern on the roof with the red and green gumdrops after asking my son to separate the red and green ones for me into 2 piles, since I'm red-green deficient. Then I made a pattern on the front of the house as well. First, I squeezed out a very small, thin line of the resin, and then I used the spatula to smooth over the crack between the 2 pieces of gingerbread. I added the candy, and then I cured each line one by one. I do not recommend decorating your entire house before curing. That's going to easily become a huge mess. You're going to have drips, and again, this is one of the main reasons I highly recommend using a UV flashlight rather than setting your Miniverse creations in the sun to cure. I decided to line the edges of the gingerbread house roof with the extra marshmallows left over from the cups of hot cocoa. Here's what the house looks like once I was done decorating with the gumdrops, cherries, and marshmallows. house. I think it came out looking really good. I'm going to set this house aside over here. No matter what you choose to do with your Miniverse, either using exactly the ingredients as they come or adding extras, the entire idea of these toys is to make awesome miniatures your very own. I highly recommend trying out ingredients from your own pantry, or use clay to make extra sprinkles or other candies to add to your gingerbread house or other projects. So what's left of the Holiday Miniverse? The ultra rare, special edition Buddy the Elf Spaghetti. Don't forget, the only way to find the elf spaghetti is to find a ball with the hot cocoa images on the inner red wrapper, but the ball is going to weigh 110 or more grams instead of around 102 grams, which is what the hot cocoa actually weighs. This item comes with a round white plastic plate, a silver plastic fork, a clear plastic jar with a silver lid containing small round colorful candies, a clear plastic container with 2 candy canes, a small plastic bag filled with colorful mini marshmallows, a package containing spaghetti noodles, and a jar of resin maple syrup. Not shown in the ingredient list, but still included, is a greeting card from Buddy the Elf himself, which we'll take a look at later. The first way that you're going to realize upon opening your Miniverse hot cocoa ball to confirm that you found the elf spaghetti is that you won't have a gold ball like this at all. Instead, you'll have a green one. Only the elf spaghetti comes in the green ball. Inside the ball, you'll see this ingredient card, which includes the list of ingredients as well as the recipe for your elf spaghetti. Unlike many of the other Miniverse sets, this ingredient card is totally separate from the ingredients and recipes of the rest of the set, and it only comes in the special elf spaghetti ball. You'll also get this adorable and festive table, which has this cute design printed on the surface instead of the regular plain pearly white tables that came with the rest of the Holiday Miniverse balls. Now that I've got all the ingredients out, let's actually assemble this limited edition treat. First, open your package of noodles. You might notice that you've got a really decent amount of spaghetti noodles included in this set, which is great if you like to save some of your ingredients and leftovers to try making something else later. I actually did set some of my spaghetti aside to make something else fun, and I'm going to show you that at the end of the video. I trimmed the spaghetti noodles down, leaving some longer and some shorter so that they would look nice and fill up the plate. The noodles are really long, so there's plenty here for the recipe if you want to save some. I saved a little less than half of the total noodles for my other project, and I don't think that it made my plate look empty at all. After trimming down the noodles and adding them to the plate, I immediately opened up the resin maple syrup. I added some maple syrup and carefully positioned all the noodles to fit on the plate. I also added the candies. The maple syrup and candies help to hold the spaghetti noodles in place on the plate. Now this is where I decided to deviate just a little bit. I added some chocolate bar pieces and a couple of scoops of ice cream left over from other projects. I figured if we're gonna make elf spaghetti, I might as well go full elf. Some hot fudge and whipped cream to really complete the look. I even added a candy cane to top off the recipe. Okay, now that I've made the abomination that is elf spaghetti, because let's be honest, even a junk food junkie like me would never eat this mess. Let's take a look at the adorable card that came with the set. Inside the tiny envelope, you get this cute card from Buddy himself. It says Happy Holidays on the front, and it's signed with a doodle of Buddy inside. Now typically, this would be it. We've looked at all 4 recipes, we've made them, but today I've added a bonus recipe I thought you would really enjoy. Using the extra noodles from my elf spaghetti and some resin that I tinted red using chalk pastels, as well as the ground beef mixture from the Series 3 crunchy tacos, I made spaghetti and meatballs. I think it turned out incredible, and I was really excited about how this recipe looked when it was done. It might actually be one of my favorite customs I've ever done. I suggest that you use a little bit of clear resin or the resin spaghetti sauce to hold your ground beef together. To form the meatballs, I actually took one of the unused table stands and I formed the little round balls for the meatballs by putting the ground beef mixture into the space where the table would meet the stand. It's the perfect size and shape to act as a meatball mold. Since the spaghetti noodles are pretty long, I wrapped one of them around the fork and cured the resin, making my spaghetti a frozen moment. I hope that you enjoyed this little bonus item as much as I enjoyed making it. Please stay tuned. I'm working really hard on the rest of my weight guide videos to get them out as soon as I can. I want to be all caught up by the time Series 4 inevitably comes out. I've got the new appliances and the new Easter ones coming. I can't wait to show you all this stuff. I'm doing my best to finish editing these videos and get them out to you as quickly as I can. In the meantime, I'll be adding some shorts and some more live stream product openings to my channel. So please click that like and subscribe button today for more doll, toy, and mini content coming really soon. I hope you and your families have a safe and happy new year.